Okay, so this video is going to be about getting the first-person starter asset up and running in your project. And you want to go to the store, download this asset, first person. It's nice because it is URP and uses the new input system and uses a character controller, and I think those things are all useful. Okay, so then I want you, once it's here and you've got it in your assets, you want to go to first person controller, you want to go to prefabs, and you want to drag the player follow camera, the player capsule, and the main camera, and not the nested parents. So this one, and this one, drag those into here, which you can see I've already done, and they will be then you'll be in place. Then the other thing you have to do before you're up and running is go to player capsule, player camera, route to player capsule, player follow camera here, and on this window here for follow, you want to drag player camera route into that window there. So drag like this, and now it knows what to do. This asset uses the cinema virtual camera, cinema machine virtual camera, and we can talk more about that, about how that works. Okay, but if you do that, you should be able to use WSAD and your mouse to look around, your spacebar to jump, and all of that fun stuff. There are controls here, of course, for how fast you want to go, how fast you want to sprint, rotate. All of these stuff are changeable. The only thing that you might run into is when it lands, it decides whether you can jump again, whether you've landed on the ground or not. And so this is the layers, all the layers it will consider ground. And by default, it's going to be set to everything. You might want to make a layer. So here for my ground plane, I made a layer called ground and applied it to that ground plane. And then in that, and then we set this to ground, and that way you might have some stuff that you can't jump back off of, and so it won't know you're landed on ground until it lands on ground again. For the most part, you probably don't need to do that, but if your game is getting a little glitchy later on and you're doing more complicated stuff, maybe you want to define a specific ground player for when it's grounded, and apparently that helps you out. Okay, so if that's all you want, that's great. If you want to make your own inputs that are outside of, the ones that are in here for, WSAD and moving the mouse, let's say you want to have a throw mechanism, and so you want to add the letter T to throw an object. And then let's do it sort of within the paradigm of what they have with their scripts. So I guess the first thing I'd want to do is go back to my asset folder here. I'm going to go to the input systems actions file, double click on that, and I will delete this and pretend it isn't here. Okay, so now let's make an action called throw, even though I just deleted it, and we will go under the plus sign here and we'll say throw, and I am going to add a binding. So I did that little down arrow and bindings. Bindings here, I can say path, I can say I want it to be keyboard, I can say listen and hit the letter T, and say T on keyboard. That's great. We can say use mouse and keyboard as in the use and control scheme. That's awesome. And I'll close this. And now this is important. When you close this, you have to say yes, I want to save it. So that should save it. Let's just double check that it saved it. Yes, it did. Okay, excellent. So now there's an input in there. It's waiting for the letter T, and you can grab it. Now you could write your own script that just gets that letter T, but let's work within the paradigm of what they have. And so for them, they have two scripts that are handling. One is handling the actual controller, and one is doing the actual starter, communicating with that starter with the input system. So let's start here with the input system, and we want to look at jump, because jump is already in there. We can copy. We can make sort of every time we see jump, we can make a sort of our own for throw. So I've got one here. We've got public boolean jump, and I will go. Let's go copy paste so I don't make any mistakes. Public bool, and we'll call it throw test. Just the word throw is might conflict with other language in the script. So throw test is great. Okay, so now let's look down here. Now here we've got on jump, and it's calling this. So on jump is going to be called from the input file we were looking at, and we're going to call ours on throw. So we can copy this, and we can say on throw input value, and we'll say throw input is when value press. So this is going to call another script down there. So let's look at jump input value is down here. Jump input value. And here we're going to change this to throw. And we'll say new throw state. And we'll say this is through throw state. And this is where we called it throw test, because that's the variable we named up here, right? Yes. Okay. So now we're the input system here, and look, it didn't save it. Why didn't it save it? That's weird. Okay, let's do that again. Throw bindings, path, keyboard, listen, letter T, and I'm going to click keyboard or mouse, and I'm going to save it. Okay. Beautiful. Swear I did that before, but in any case, it's there now. Okay, so we're still not done, because we have, although we can test, we should be able to test it now to see if it's working. So let's go down here. Let's go debug.log throw. Let's see if this is getting called. Go back to our code here. I'll go to my console, and I'm going to hit the letter T. And every time I press T, it's printing throw. Beautiful. So now it's working in here. Now one thing we did when we made this is we made throw test a public boolean. And so if we want to look in our code, here's where we're actually grabbing things like the gravity and jump and move, and this is where that logic of moving the controller around is actually happening. So it makes sense we'd have throw in here, because this is where other stuff is also happening. So let's go we'll have, let's make a function called throw check, and we could say private void throw check. Okay, and let's use the jump, how it's grabbing that jump value. So let's see, jump and gravity here. Underscore input dot jump is how it's grabbing that jump variable out of our input. So let's go back up to our new throw check, and we can say, and we want input not jump but throw test. We're going to spell that right. And we can say, let's just do a little check here, if input throw test. So that's going to be if it's true. Say throw from F, first person controller. So that will tell us it's throwing it from this script. And let's try that again. Debug, needs a capital D. And now I'm going to play again. Let's see, T. Okay, so notice it's continually, it's working, saying throw from FPC, but it's spamming it. So we've got that Boolean that we flipped on, throw test, there's nothing flipping it back. So we could say input.throwTest equals false, and that will set it back. And now we play it again. It's awesome. So every time I press it, it's coming up again. And there we could introduce, so we could put our throw mechanic in here, and we're off to the races. Okay, hope that helps. Good luck. Bye.